if people, let's say men or women, if they don't have a life plan, I think this depends on how old they are. Because honestly, like, I have a mental plan of like how I want my life to look, but do I have a plan of all the steps that I'm going to take to get there?
Yeah, no,
Not particularly.
No, I don't think you're going to have that when you're very young, but I think you have a sense of direction.
Right.
So, I think like if you're like dating a woman or a man, and let's say they're young, like 25 or whatever, 24, and they even at that point just can't get their shit together.
Right.
I think that they can ultimately get the shit together, and that's pretty cool if they do that. But if they're sort of like they've dropped out of school and they're just like, I'm just gonna live at home and
Right.
do whatever, like, okay, drop out of school, but go and do something. I mean, by the way, either of my children cannot drop out of school, so but it's like, but have a plan.
Right.
I appreciate that, let's say post-secondary education, going to university is not for everyone, but have a plan, do something constructive and interesting with your time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, obviously you have no idea at 20. Life has a habit of doing that. You sort of have a plan and you think you're going here and you end up here.
Totally.
But that's fine. That's completely fine. As long as you have a direction that you're going in.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So the people with no direction
is concerning.
We're just like, chill, let it happen, figure it out.
I think, yeah.
Even though they won't figure it out.
No, I tell you what the red flag would be for me is no sense of urgency about life and time.
The sense of urgency.
It bothers me a lot.
Right.
In people or situations when people have no sense of urgency.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get on with it. And that's what it is. It's not, you obviously don't know exactly what the steps are. You want to get to this point in your life and you maybe want these things or whatever. You could be fairly clueless at 20, like, how the hell am I going to get there?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I understand that. But having some direction.
Yeah.
And I truly think you want to try and meet somebody who wants to go in the same direction and is aiming for the same things. Like if you, for example, want to live in a nice house in Rosedale and the guy you meet wants to live in a van and drive around California or whatever.
Right. Nothing wrong with either of those.
Absolutely nothing wrong with either of them. You are probably not going to last.
No.
So maybe if you want to live a life in a van, and I say this because I've been watching TikToks about this couple that live in a van.
No, I can't with
and I'm just like, I'm obsessed.
That actually stresses me out.
It stresses me out.
I watch them
Where
and
do
I'm
they
like,
go to the toilet?
This is psychotic.
It bothers me. Like, where's the toilet? Where's the bath? Where's the shower? It really bothers me. I get very bothered by, although I'm actually super impressed by their ability.
No, I'm so impressed, but I'm also just like the anxiety that this gives me. Like,
it makes me anxious. Yeah, just like where do you sit? Where do you read? Where do you watch TV? It gives me anxiety, although impressive that they can do it. But that's the point.
So
if you both want to live in a van, great.
Yes.
And you both want to travel, you're both not materialistic, great. But if you're materialistic, for example, and want certain kind of, I guess, financial milestones, and you're with somebody that doesn't, there will be disaster along the way because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
You've got to have some kind of similar values going in some kind of similar direction. You don't have to like everything the same, but you need to be going in the same
somewhat direction.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Careers are hard. Like I've been through probably 5 since I've met you.
Which is fine.
No, it's honestly good. Like
had them.
You have to do things to figure out what you don't
100%,
like. And so if
100%.
you don't like, if there's 20-somethings-year-olds or even 30-something-year-olds or whoever, maybe you're in your 50s and you're still like, I don't actually like my career. I'm going to pivot. Yeah. It's great to pivot.
Yeah.
But just do that with another sense of like happiness, excitement, passion.
Yeah, but also just do it. Dust yourself off. Go, okay, that didn't work. Let's do this.
Fuck yeah.
And I admire that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with reinvent yourself as many times as you like.
So yeah, someone doesn't have direction. That's a red flag. But if someone's pivoting and they have an enthusiasm for life, that's a green flag.
Oh, 100%. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod and leave us a voicemail on our website at sharingmytruth.com to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.